Cambodia Tzu Chi volunteers distribute supplies to residents near a landfill. Tzu Chi volunteers give face shields to policemen in different regions. Welcome to the Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In Cambodia, a scavenger at a landfill tested positive for COVID-19. Therefore, many residents nearby cannot pick recyclables for a living. As many people are going through starvation, Tzu Chi volunteers, under the request of a local committee, distributed supplies to residents. In Cambodia's Phnom Penh, a scavenger near a garbage mountain was tested positive for COVID-19, causing the local committee to prohibit residents from entering the garbage mountain. Unable to pick recyclables, nearby residents are facing difficulties.
Residents here have a lot of children, but they have low income and large spendings. Due to the pandemic, they have no food to eat. The rice you gave them is very helpful.
After the Tzu Chi Cambodia Liaison Office received the request, supplies were in place for distribution, and in order to prevent contracting COVID-19, the event is held outdoors as residents have to obey the rules of social distancing.
I'm thankful to Tzu Chi because this isn't your first time helping us. When we have problems, Tzu Chi is here. I've received help from Tzu Chi 4 or 5 times.
Besides distributing supplies, volunteers promoted vegetarianism as many vow to try it out.
I'm happy to receive help from Tzu Chi because now we lack food and you encouraged us to eat more vegetables and less meat. I will follow your guidelines and improve my physical conditions.
Besides the affected residents living near the garbage mountain, people in the Handicap Association are also affected by the pandemic as volunteers arrive bringing them fresh vegetables.
After Phnom Penh's lockdown, we have people in our association that lost their jobs, and without income, they're out of food. I'm thankful to Tzu Chi for their fresh vegetables.
As the pandemic worsened, Tzu Chi volunteers became messengers of kindness and love, hoping to aid people in need. In China on May 14th, a rare tornado has hit Wuhan, devastating several villages in Caidin district. In the aftermath of the tornado, Tzu Chi volunteers went there to assess damages. They want to comfort affected residents who have been placed in hotels and understand their needs.
您当时在哪里啊？我一个屋里，在屋里是吧？在屋里讲解去了，还是不知道是屋里去了，就是瓦飞掉了或者打破了。哦，瓦，我这外面的瓦飞到那个里面，把您的脑袋打破了。哦。
71-year-old Mr. Chen lives in Tzu Chi village. Similar to his house, the other villagers' house roofs have been blown away. Volunteers care for the residents, delivering their best wishes.
Peace charm is to wish you peace and auspiciousness, alright? Let's work hard together, alright?
Currently, the government has placed affected residents in hotels and they can take care of each other. However, when volunteers ask them about the tornado, they still have lingering fear.
当时风来的时候，往哪躲？
翻那墙角的，躲在那个墙角，没办法。
墙角，
那个东西，
墙角在是吧？
躲在墙角，不因为那个将来瓦了，还树枝是什么东西？家里可以把你吓飞。
我们将这份平安送给大家。
We give the peace charms to everyone, and we hope that the villagers can rebuild their homes soon and return to their normal life. Let's work hard together, alright?
大家一起努力，一起加油，好不好？
Volunteers calm the residents' anxious minds and also take note of the residents' needs so they can plan the future disaster relief work. In China, in the business district of Kaizhou district, there's a Fenghuang school. Most of the students are with special needs or from impoverished families. The founder founded the school because she has a disabled child who could not receive a normal education. After learning about the school situation, city volunteers have provided them assistance.
城区里看到这最底层的这些居民，几乎90%的这些孩子都是缺母或者少父的这样的一个状态，他们给我们的感觉就是苦。
Qi Meishen, who is a junior high student, always help her grandparents with handwork after class. After his parents divorced, he has developed a silent and shy personality, but he was very filial to his grandparents.
We can put on 1,000 stickers a day to earn 5 yuan only. Then we can buy more food.
This is the most prosperous urban area in Chongqing. However, there are many migrant workers' families who are struggling to live. Such as student Du Wenchen has 4 siblings. His father is a store vendor. Therefore, he had to help with house chores after class.
This is a table for having meals. Under the table, there are clothes and pants. This box is also for clothes, and this is also for clothes.
Both children are students at Fenghuang School. This is the private school located on the rooftop of the business district. There are 192 students. Almost all of them come from poor families.
For children with poor backgrounds, you need to help them to live independently. After every child enters school, he has given you a kind of responsibility, and you have the liability to teach them well.
This school was established in 1989. The founder hopes that, through her school, more special needs children will not lose the opportunity to study.
I'm very grateful to Principal Deng and Principal Yo. They put this place together when school was in the most difficult period or when it was relocating. They gave up their high wages and ran to this place to pass on love to others.
After learning the school situation, Tzu Chi began to provide student assistance and regular care since last year.
Children who are cared for with love will grow well and spiritually different from the children who are not cared for. This is what our school lacks, and Tzu Chi makes up for what we cannot do.
Tzu Chi has given these children a helping hand in their education, hoping that they can pursue higher goals in the future.
As we mentioned, in Chongqing, China, there's a school called Fenghuang School. City volunteers have started to provide scholarships to impoverished but worthy students since last year. They've also promoted recycling. Currently, the students not only carry out recycling, they also take to the streets to promote recycling, becoming more confident. As the students go to school, besides carrying their school bags, they also carry 2 bags of recyclables. This day is school's recycling day, and parents and children have brought recyclables from their homes.
On our way to school, we carry a bag. We will pick up bottles along the way and place them at the security guard's room or bring them home. I like to do recycling because I can make the world cleaner and more beautiful.
This is Fenghuang School in Kaizhou District, Chongqing. City volunteers have started to provide scholarships to students since last year. They've also promoted recycling. Now the students not only do recycling, they also promote environmental concepts on the streets.
When I did recycling in the past, I saw a man who threw a meal box on the ground after eating the food. I told him, "Uncle, you cannot put that on the ground. You must recycle it."
When I first came into contact with these children, I found that these children have big problems with their communication and expressions. They are timid. Through recycling, they can become people who are willing to share and give of themselves.
The children are trained to be more courageous through recycling. It is hoped that the students will become more confident as they protect the environment. In Taiwan, as the pandemic situation worsens, frontline police officers might be in contact with more COVID patients. Therefore, Kaohsiung City volunteers handmade face shields, sending them to police stations in northern regions of Taiwan. At a hotspot of COVID cases in Taipei's Wanhua district, a patient passed away due to COVID-19. Though police officers and firefighters broke into the home, the woman was pronounced dead after attempts to save her.
过往人潮聚集的蒙甲公园，如今也只剩部分民众还坐在这边，而旁边的商家则是拉下铁门不做生意。
Previously, when I was on an MRT, there was only one person who came in, and there were only 5 people in the carriage. There has to be at least 6 to 7 security guards on patrol because people drink and fight here.
Working in the front line means more risks, as on May 18th, Tzu Chi Foundation provided 500 face shields to Taipei City Police Department's Wanhua precinct.
When our colleagues are on duty, they are unsure if they have encountered a COVID-contracted person. This pressures them greatly. I'm thankful to Tzu Chi and other organizations who gave us supplies.
These face shields are handmade by Kaohsiung City volunteers, as it was rushed to northern Taiwan overnight, providing warmth to police stations in New Taipei City and Taipei City's Zhongshan, Neihu, Nangang police stations.
To Taoyuan City, New Taipei City, Taipei City, and Yilan County, they need COVID prevention face shields. About 6,000 face shields. As of now, we have given out 3,000 face shields, and we hope to support the COVID prevention efforts this time.
As the COVID prevention supplies arrive, city volunteers hope that police officers may be fully guarded on duty. Resilience in the face of adversity is very important. Jian Yuwen, a volunteer in Yunlin, suffers from cancer. She did not complain anything but faced it with an optimistic attitude. Apart from receiving treatment, she devoted herself to volunteer work and visited care recipients who are also patients. She comforts them with a compassionate heart.
担心太多的话，其实不会减轻明天的负荷，只会夺走今天的快乐。
Facing the cancer optimistically is the magic weapon of volunteer Jian Yuwen in Yunlin. She was made known to others since August 2020.
I'm back again.
Back then, she was undergoing chemotherapy, but still told everyone that she would return to Jiancheng Tzu Chi office, which was a recycling station before reconstruction. Jian Yuwen was responsible for the internal affairs of the office. Later, owing to work, she moved to the south.
I have been in Pingdong for 3 or 4 years. I was very busy. At that time, I found lumps in my chest.
Suffering from cancer made her think of her busy life and decided to stop and return to Yunlin. In fighting with cancer, guess what she did? Making jokes with her daughter, she took the initiative to shave all her hair off to undergo chemotherapy. Yet she did not miss any volunteer activities, including bone marrow registry events, sign language practice, tea party, reading club, and listening to Dharma teachings.
In fact, as a sick person, it's impossible not to suffer. But if you practice the Dharma seriously, you will find everything is smooth along the way.
Among all volunteer work, paying home visitation is the most meaningful to her. Treating the care recipient who also suffers from cancer, Jian Yuwen gave her confidence and care. She does not let herself feel depressed, but give of herself more.
妈咪哪一点最让你佩服？
个性开朗，有够乐天，
有够乐天，是真的很乐天。
Can ordinary people do extraordinary things? Over the past 55 years, Tzu Chi school deeds have traveled all over the world. Much of this work has been done by ordinary women. They do whatever they can to spread compassion around the world.
你今天去跳舞呀？
不太跳了，我现在要速八去上课。
家珍过来给阿木看一下，家珍都吃阿木的牛奶哈，所以妈妈才心甘情愿出来受政治委员哈。
In order to help others, Li Zhangguizhu became a nanny to take care of infants.
Her mother didn't experience any difficulties. It's just that the child needs someone to look after it.
Always being able to give the other person what they need, this friendship still remains true after so many years.
现在几公分啦？
现在7多吧。
你会想阿木吗？
会啊。
真的还假的？要讲真心话哦。
真的。
真的哦。阿木也是想你嘞。
他的爱宽广博大，
In the early years in China, her husband was busy with his career. Li Zhangguizhu worked for charities and sponsored children and cared for blind children. More than 100 children were helped, and she was featured on a local TV station.
李太太张桂珠一直在莆田这块土地上播撒爱的种子。
No interruption in doing Taiwan charity, she made many regular trips, and Yu Tzu is one child with a special destiny.
他真的很优秀啦，就是迄阵就是安尼找不到他的出口啦。
With a special style and super short hair, this child was brought to China to be raised by Li Zhangguizhu, even though they had no blood relation.
I've been really stupid all my life. My whole mind is what method I can use to help these children.
The past was painful and there were many scars. The girl who once hurt herself, was depressed, has already changed entirely.
From a child who was so rebellious and worried so many people, she can be independent today and still has a way to use music to inspire others. I really can't even think about how awesome it is.
想都不敢想。Baby， 你真的好棒。对了，还是很棒的。
During one special period, Yu Tzu's life turned around.
When I was in low period of my life, Grandma Guizhu accompanied me.
我都觉得说。
I just think that this is my job. So many people tell me not to do this. I am doing too much, and if I didn't do it, others will.
She doesn't just manage her own responsibilities, but has a habit of taking on other duties so that ordinary people can do extraordinary things.
他的心得就是有拍下课再去问，刚刚有拍到那个整理钱嘛，就。
Originally a post office employee, Jin Su-shi feels a sense of mission and became a documenting volunteer in Zhanghua.
我们大部分都可以讨论，不要看到太浪。前面前置作业的一个专访，
会把每个人的心都扣在一起。
She rushed to do everything and cared about her team members. However, Zheng Bangyuan felt dizzy and needed to seek medical attention.
The right side is 0.02. The left side is about 0.01.
The husband wasn't able to drive and the child was abroad. The first thing he thought about was Jin Su-shi, who was as close to him as his own family.
It seems like my own sister taking care of me. This means that I don't have any worries.
She personally transported her to the hospital. Jin Su-shi's husband is the best assistant as a driver.
有想说他会不会是压迫到后面的颈椎，嘿。 他才会造成也手甲脚会麻呢。
She's willing to provide service and ask for nothing in return. She always says yes and never says no.
It's a kind of helpful personality. She likes to find jobs to do.
She soon invested herself into being a documenting volunteer, learning everything from scratch and embarking on disaster relief missions abroad.
The documenting volunteers in Sichuan called her Iron Girl.
Even after the cervical spine surgery, Jin Su-shi had not fully recovered yet. As she wore a neck guard, she soon set foot on the hardest hit disaster area in the Philippines.
As long as someone invites me, I will go.
A journey can lead to a lifetime of memories, and one of her most precious items is a drawing from a Nepalese boy.
Although it has been almost 6 years, she is very grateful for this memory.
An unforgettable memory is a Sichuan grandmother's pain after losing her son.
Every time I see this photo, I think of that scene. It's actually a mother's love.
Every short journey and every person you meet can be an act of love. Jin Su-shi captures these most honest and beautiful moments with her lens and words. Outdoor teaching activities in Bagua Mountain play an educational role in entertainment. Responsible for these children, even on this day of outdoor teaching, despite lumbar spine pain due to nerve compression, she still comes.
I still have to come today. This is our responsibility to be involved in education like this.
Only a graduate from elementary school herself, she doesn't think too much of herself and leads people to take care of others. The school team that she brings out includes a lot of talented people like principals, teachers, and big bosses.
Our class is great. There are 2 principals. One is the real principal, and the other is someone who smiles a lot.
She actually does much more than me, because she can involve the whole community.
Without a higher education degree, she can still lead this group of intellectuals. Because of Tzu Chi, she has grown from an ordinary housewife to an admired leader.
She seems to know very little, but she knows how to motivate people, so she's super awesome.
I didn't know that I had this instinct before, but when you join, there is some karma which will find you.
The most beautiful are often the ordinary women in the community who work with their hands and feet, which are Tzu Chi's greatest strength.
Mr. Zheng, who suffers from epilepsy, has to use a wheelchair. However, his home did not have barrier-free facilities, causing his mother and him to fall down once. The borough chief sought help from Tzu Chi. Tzu Chi volunteers immediately went there to install a barrier-free ramp for them.
师兄这样子帮我设计这个空间，我以后对我来说行动就应该都比较方便了。
The volunteer was removing the door threshold in front of the bathroom with an electric drill, and then put the barrier-free ramp made in advance in a suitable location. Mr. Zheng in Banqiao suffered from epilepsy since youth, causing atrophy in his legs as he often has accidents when using a wheelchair at home.
There was a time when his mother was pushing his wheelchair. Both his mother and him fell down, so they really need a barrier-free space.
The borough chief helped Mr. Zhang apply to Tzu Chi. Upon receiving the request, volunteers immediately activated a home improvement project.
Soon after Tzu Chi received the request, volunteers came to do measurement the next day. And according to my needs, installed this barrier-free ramp for me. Thank you very much.
The size of this wooden barrier-free ramp was measured by a professional carpenter and then made at Tzu Chi grounds. On the day of construction, some adjustments were made according to the actual situation of Mr. Zhang's home.
According to our principal, we used our fastest speed to complete the construction in one day, without destroying the space of this recipient so that he can use it in time.
Under the pandemic, volunteers not only observed epidemic prevention measures, but also protected the aid recipients' families. This selfless love allows Mr. Zhang and his families to live a safer life in the future.
In Taiwan, city recycling stations have been temporarily closed. Volunteers seized the opportunity to sanitize the recycling stations. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.